Grab some coffee, a Mountain Dew, maybe both. A storm is brewing. The Brainstorm. Welcome to the Brainstorm with Matt and Mike.
Welcome to the Brainstorm with Matt and Mike. I'm here today with our guest host, Freddie Marchant, and today, Freddie and I, our business development manager, our sales manager, is going to talk all about recruiting. Freddie, welcome to the show. I appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Freddie, we know that a ton of our clients and just businesses across the country struggle with recruiting.
Yes.
How to find the right people, the right talent that they are looking for.
That's correct.
And it's been that way for quite some time. When the economy is really, really good, what ends up happening, and before the whole COVID-19 thing, the economy was really, really good.
Yes.
And unemployment was really, really low. And now unemployment is obviously extremely high due to all of the shutdowns through the whole COVID-19. We're certainly hopeful that the economy will indeed migrate back as the virus and the COVID-19 starts to subside, and we certainly are hopeful that it does subside. But nonetheless, it still leaves business owners and business executives still looking for the right team members.
That's correct. Yeah, you got to have the right people.
And so it's almost mind-boggling with the number of people that are unemployed, that the number of businesses are still looking for good people.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
it's kind of sad.
It is. It's very sad. So how do we find them? And so the key is making sure we understand who we're looking for.
Yes.
It always starts with that. It's very similar to just advertising in general. We have to understand what our needs are. Today, you have multiple options today. You have the ability to say, okay, here's the hole that we have. We need to fill the hole.
Yes.
with someone qualified to fill the hole. You have another option of saying, okay, hey, here's the deal. Let's just go find someone with integrity, that's honest, that has good work ethic, which is 3 excellent traits.
Yes.
And say, let's just hire them and then train them to fill the hole.
To do the job, yes.
Right? And so you have multiple scenarios. You have more than that. That's just a couple of obvious examples that you're looking for. But nonetheless, we still have to find the person that has integrity, that's honest, that's got good work ethic.
Yes.
I know that the hungry, humble, smart is a scenario that we certainly have studied here, and that we love to put it in play here, because you're looking for someone who's hungry, who's humble, and is smart, right? And I mean, you're hungry. You want to do the job, and you want to do it very, very well, and you go put forth every effort you can to do the job.
Yep.
Humble is you're not going to be basically an ass while you're doing it.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
And so you're going to be someone who is going to be able to work within the team, but still contribute, but do it in a very respectful type of manner.
Yes.
Those types of things. And then smart, someone who knows how to do the job. Right? And so that's obviously who everybody wants.
That's right.
Right? And then there's some occupations that you have to have the smart. You can't train them in the smart area, because there's things like there's businesses out there that you have to have degrees for, you have to have education for, you have to have certifications for, you have to have licensing for.
Yes.
Right? I know to be, say, a lawyer, you can't just say, we're just going to hire him, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's a lawyer, right? No, you have to go to law school to become a lawyer. You have to go to medical school to become a doctor. You have to go to dental school to become a dentist, so on and so forth. There's certain education pieces out there. So we're not talking about just hiring someone for that. But, hey, there's law firms that need lawyers, needs good lawyers, or even paralegals.
Yes.
There's medical organizations that need nursing, that needs doctors, that need those types of certified people. So it's still the same premise. It's still the same theory, Freddie. So how do we attract them? Okay. Well, so there's a bunch of different ways, right? And so we're going to talk about as many of the options as possible, and then we're going to, Freddie, then let's refocus and start narrowing it down to some maybe some non-obvious ways,
Okay.
maybe some ways that are a little bit more creative,
Sure.
using an actual marketing and advertising strategy
Yeah.
to attract the right people.
Of course.
Okay. So the traditional ways, you have things like web directories,
Yeah.
right? You have things like Monster,
Yep.
right? You have all types of recruiting style websites that you
Right.
can put on. But Freddie, those are expensive.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and you even have some of those traditional ways too, like newspaper ads.
Oh, an ad in a newspaper? An ad in the newspaper?
You still have clients that will come to us and say that they're running an ad in their newspaper, and so you still have that out there, still happening.
Yeah, and you do have some rural areas because, we're not
Correct.
all encompassed here
Correct.
in the geographic area. So you do have some areas that they still read their local newspaper.
That's right.
The thing about it is the local newspaper isn't half the size that it used to be, so
That's
it takes
right.
a lot less time to get through it
Yeah, exactly.
in the morning.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, you're right. There are people still looking for the classifieds. And of course, you can get to the classifieds online.
Online. That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Everything's online. You can get to it online.
That's exactly right.
So yeah, you definitely have the directories of entering, like the classifieds,
Yep.
right? Things of
Yep.
that nature. And the websites that you have.
Yeah.
Then you have social media platforms like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a really, really good spot, depending
Great
on the
place.
type of business. But I would say that it's a really, really good spot for recruiting.
Yes.
I mean, they have a full. I mean, if you're a professional recruiter, then you're already using LinkedIn,
You're
right?
on it.
And so that's LinkedIn is they have a full recruiting section,
Exactly.
right? Kind of a premium platform that you can do recruiting
Yes.
on. I know that's where we do the majority of our recruiting, but we're a marketing and advertising
That's right.
agency. So at Splash Omnimedia, so that we want people who would be participating in LinkedIn, and you have to think about things like that,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah, they have to have that level of experience with those platforms.
Right. Like we're not going to hire someone who walks in with a flip phone,
That's right.
right? Not to take away from people who use flip phones.
That's right.
But what you're not going to hire someone to do your social media if they walk in with a flip phone.
Right.
I mean, it's just not. It's
exactly
not happening.
right.
They're not the most technology savvy person out there if they're walking in with a flip phone.
That would be an epic fail right there.
Yeah, that would be bad. So you're looking at those types of things. But basically, here's what it boils down to. All types of ways to advertise it, but that's simply conveying the message using a certain medium. Okay? Here's the first thing I do. Figure out what your needs are. Figure out what your needs are. Once you figured that out, then figure out the criteria in which you want somebody. I gave the example of hungry, humble, smart. Figure out what your core values are. Like, make sure that you are going to hire these core values, whatever those are, whatever fits whatever organization is. So now you understand what the need is. You understand what the core value that the people have to have, right, in order to fit in your culture.
Yeah.
Make sure that they fit in your culture. If they don't fit in your culture, then I could tell you that they won't be there long,
That's exactly right.
right? Whether you're letting them go or they're leaving, they won't be there long. And if they do stay there long, then they will become a cancer in your organization and will eat you out from the inside out. And it would be a horrible scenario.
That's right. So that's critical. And even if they're not there long, you still wasted all your time, money, and
Right.
effort getting them in
Right.
to that seat.
So here's some suggestions for you. You figure those two things out that we just talked about, the whole, what you're looking for, what criteria they need to meet. We recommend a multi-interview process.
Yes.
Right? And so with different people, because different people pick up on different things. And so here, I'll just give you examples of what we do and how we do it. Right? Within our advertising agency. We have a minimum of a 4-interview process.
Yeah.
Okay? We're going to interview at different levels. At one point, you're going to interview with the management, senior management. It might be one person. It might be 3 or 4 people. But somebody in the management. Then you're going to interview with the other person in management or the other people in management that wasn't in on the first interview. Third, you're going to interview with the team in which you will be working with.
Correct.
Okay. And so everybody on that team you're going to be working with, you're going to interview with them. Okay. We don't really call it interviews. We call it conversations or, things of that nature. But at the end of the day, it's an interview.
Right.
And then after that, you're going to interview your fourth interview. It could be one of two things. Your fourth interview, if someone needs to revisit something, right? Because we're talking after every interview.
Right.
And what we're looking for is hungry, humble, smart. We're looking for those three traits, if you will. And we're trying to figure out, do they have what it takes to do the job? Do they have some humility where they can be a good team member? Do they have some hungriness to where they're absolutely going to put forth an effort that's just very consistent with the overall culture, right? And so we're looking for those traits. And so if someone that you've interviewed with doubts that, then we're going to revisit, but they want to have the ability to kind of re-talk to them, if you will, then we're going to have a fifth interview, right? The last interview that we have is full team, right?
Yep.
So we might have 30, 40 people around a table in which that one person that comes in. Now, people might be listening and watching this going, oh my gosh, that is excessive. No, it's not excessive.
Right.
Right? You want people to buy into your organization. You want to be able to buy in to your culture. You want people to buy in and put forth 110% effort. Give them a voice in who their teammates are.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Give them a voice in who their teammates are. And if one person vetoes the person, then it needs to be at least talked about. If a handful or more starts to veto a person, then you probably need to just veto the person.
Yeah, you start looking in another direction
right?
at that
And
point.
so you have to be very specific when it comes to those types of things. I can tell you that here we employ those. There's also been times where we take them to some type of breakfast or lunch, and so get them in a social atmosphere. We've gotten to where we have invited them with their significant other, right? Their spouse, if they're married or whatever, and we go have dinner or lunch or something of that nature. Because I can tell you, someone's spouse can make or break that person's attitude.
Yeah, their effectiveness during the day.
Right.
Exactly.
And so, you talk to someone's spouse, you'll find out what everything that the interviewee is not telling you very, very quickly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so some of those are just some tactics that we use here from the interview process. But one of the keys is we always, and after the first or second interview, probably the second interview, if we feel really good, then we always have a DISC assessment.
Right.
We send the prospect a DISC assessment.
Yes.
So we want to understand what their personality traits are, where their strengths are.
Yeah.
Sometimes we send them the DISC assessment. Sometimes we send them a strengths finder test as well. And we basically grid it. And so everybody on our team has taken a DISC assessment and a strengths finder, and we have a grid that shows what everybody's personality is, everybody's name. We even have it color-coded. Our art director did it, so it's going to look really, really good, obviously.
Exactly.
And then, so what we're going to have, and it's probably significantly more time put into the grid than probably what was needed, but it looks phenomenal.
Right. It looks great.
It looks phenomenal. And then what happens is we can, at a glance, we can very quickly see what everybody's strengths are. Because here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to hire someone and they have absolutely no ability to do the job you need, even if they're just a really, really good person. Because if they're a really good person, you like them, but now you're just paying an extra salary and you're still not getting the job done. So that means we still got to go fill the hole.
That's exactly right.
Right?
And you're wasting time and money in that situation. I think the other thing with that idea is that let's say that you're 6 months into that new employee and you have a team meeting or you have a strategy session, you can go and look at that grid and go over each person again who's coming in there to remind you, if you're leading the meeting, on their strengths as a reminder to make that meeting more effective.
That's a good point.
So
That's a really good point. Because so it definitely comes back around later on.
yes.
One thing that I was just thinking about, Freddie, when you were talking about that, is when you're looking at those strengths and those personality traits, is that most of the time that businesses that don't do those assessments, which is the majority,
Yes.
the majority don't do these types of assessments. Every business should, every organization should, from nonprofits to for-profits to municipalities. I mean, everybody should, but in the case that people don't, here's what ends up happening. What ends up happening is you're not able to fill the hole because that's not the personality. But what you don't realize is that by doing that, you're also doing those folks an injustice by hiring them.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it just, because now you're putting them in a lose-lose situation. And then no one's happy. Your team's not happy. They're not happy. You're not happy. Right?
Yes.
The cool thing about it is when you do the assessments, then you understand why they are like they are, right? And so now you can better understand, well, that's just their personality. They're trying to do it correctly, and they have passion of doing it correctly. They're just going about it differently. Here's what I found out over the years. What I found out over the years is most organizations, one or two people are doing all the interviewing.
Yes.
And that means that if those people or that person that's doing interviewing likes them, then they're going to hire them. And so what does that get you? That gets you a bunch of people that's filling the room that are all like the person doing the interviewing.
Yeah. And so, that can lead to a bunch of yes men or women, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not
Or at
the
least
thing
yes
that you
person,
want.
or at least a yes person to the interviewer.
Yeah.
That might be the opposite of what the person's boss personality is.
Exactly. That position in HR might not need that yes person.
Exactly.
That's right.
I mean, if an HR person is doing your interviewing and doing your hiring, and then you go to work for someone else and they have the opposite personality, that is going to create just an ineffective,
Yes.
very non-friendly environment really quickly.
Really fast and non-productive.
That's the reason why these assessments are vital.
Yes.
That's the reason why anybody and everybody's going to be working directly with the people should be interviewing. And it shouldn't just be one interview in a group scenario.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because there's people that's not going to say things in a group that they might say into just a one-on-one type of conversation.
Exactly.
Right?
So the other aspect about that personality test is you sit back and look and you can go and say, okay, here's what we need for this specific seat that we have open. Here's what we need for this specific job category that we have open. So you don't want all the same personalities in the room. You need, we're a group of creatives here, right? Other than myself.
Right.
So, but you don't want all, fill in the blank type people, right? Or check off the box type people. You need people that can do different things. So knowing that ahead of time, knowing the criteria for your hire is extremely important. And that personality test can guide you through that.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, it's that personality. The assessments are vital, and you don't have to use the DISC or the strengths. Right? There's other assessments out there, right?
That's right.
There's more of a comprehensive DISC type of test. It basically gives you all of that. It's about $75 a deal, and it works very, very well. A lot of information. You'll find out that they are pretty doggone accurate.
That's right.
Right.
Well, if you want some validity to that, just look at the NFL. They're hiring $1 million athletes based off of their performance, not just on the field, but on a personality test.
Right.
And that's huge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's who gets, you draft who you want based off talent, based off of their on the field and off the field history,
Yes.
and based off of personality testing and individual questions, interviews. They do a lot of stuff going through the process of who they want on their team, because they understand that one person can turn the whole a big positive bunch into a negative bunch really quickly.
That's right.
All right, so that's the interview process. How do you find them? Here's what I think you should do. I think you should, once you figure out who they are, what you're looking for, what holes, right? And we kind of skipped over how you find them and went into the interview process. So we're going to jump back and fill that midsection in of how you actually attract them. Here's what you do. You need to figure out who the organization is and the benefits of working in that organization, like who you are, right? You could do that by shooting a who we are and why join us team video, which is excellent. It's a great way of doing it. You could create a section on your website for careers, and you could have everything drive to that particular section, and you should have videos. You should have an at-a-glance benefits. You want to dress this page up, right? And here's the reason why. You might be saying, oh, man, if they want to come to work for me, then, the salary I'm paying should be enough. Or my business has been around 100 years, and that should be enough.
Right.
Well, it's not.
It's not.
Okay, it's not. Here's the deal. You're interviewing them. They should be interviewing you.
Yes.
If it's just enough to be who you are, then more than likely, you're not going to be enough when they find someone else who is good enough.
Yes.
And so they need to be interviewing you. You need to be interviewing them. You need to sell yourself before they get there to where they're excited about who you are and what you do.
That's right.
And you should ask them questions about, well, what is it that you think that we do well? Well, who are we to you? Have you looked at our website? What is our mission statement?
Yes. They need to have done their homework.
They need to have done their homework. If they haven't, or if they're not, if they can't answer any of those questions, then they don't care enough to even dive in. They're more than likely not going to care enough long enough to where they're going to help you and your organization move forward long term.
Yes.
And so all those questions are vital. Okay, circling back. How do we find them? We create the message. Once we understand the hole we need, we create the message. We shoot some video. We create some content areas on your website or a microsite or landing page off website. Doesn't matter. And and it needs to all be focused on driving people there to obtain and ascertain if this is the right organization for me.
Yes.
Right? And you need to be doing that in order to ascertain if this is the right people I want employed at my organization.
Right.
Right. And so once you're able to do that, then you're able to pick out, okay, are they 20 something, 30 something, 40 something, 50 something? How much experience are we looking for within the job? Are they college graduates? Are they not? Right. When we put all this type of stuff out there, those are the type things that you can really put out there that and you could do it through text, you could do it through at a glance, you could do it through video, you could do it through content.
Right.
I mean, you have to decide on what it is you're looking for, the talent that you're looking for.
Yes.
And so you'll figure those things out, and you could get with your HR, whoever represents your HR. It might be you. In a small business scenario, it might be an HR department. In a larger business, might be outsourced HR, all types of things. Figure out what you can and can't do. We're not going to advise you on that. What we're just saying is you figure out what you want and then make sure that it's okay to say those things.
That's exactly right.
And then you put it together in a really awesome looking and feeling and conveying type of manner.
Yes.
Right? And no matter what type of business you are, this is how it works. This is the steps. Now, if you're just a one man in a band, you're probably not going to go through all these steps. I get it, right? But I can tell you that if you put through as many steps as I'm talking about, it will pay off in the long run.
Long run. That's right.
Right. And so next year or in 6 months from now, or possibly even next month, you're not sitting around here trying to hire the same spot you just hired this person for.
Yes, that's right.
That's recruiting in a nutshell. What did I miss? Fact check me.
I think you hit on pretty much everything.
Okay.
I mean,
all
I
right.
think you did a thorough job.
I love it when the fact checking comes on. You see on Facebook, it says false.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Somebody makes statements like false.
Exactly.
Twitter, false.
Yeah,
right?
there are some people out on social media that will say they don't like the term culture. that a lot of times people think that it's just, something to not hire somebody. But as you talked about earlier, I agree with you. I think it's clearly a huge factor in bringing on people to your organization. Because,
hey, listen, if you don't meet the culture, the only reason people would be saying, "Oh, I don't like the term culture," is because you don't fit it.
That's right.
It's that simple. I mean, I don't want to sound rude or anything of that nature. It's like if you don't like a business owner saying, "Well, I don't know if you kind of fit our culture." If you don't like it, that means you don't fit it. But that's just as good as for you as it is the business. And of course, right. we're talking we're coming from you from a business perspective, not from the interviewee's perspective. Yes. Yeah. But I'm just going to tell you that I wouldn't worry about that. That's my opinion.
Yep. Well, I think that's one thing that always stands out to me when you're looking at social media is that people will say that, and I think you're right. I think that's a sign in itself.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, from a recruitment standpoint, finding the right person who can fit the right seat on your bus is extremely critical. And I think you covered everything on that.
Yeah, excellent. If we can help you with any of that, we're the type of people that will help you. We're not HR people. We're not recruiters. We don't do any of that. But what we can do is we can help you understand and build your message. We can help you build the area on your website or off website to where they go and apply. We can help shoot and script and shoot and produce that who we are, why choose us, benefits of working here video messaging. Mm-hmm. We can do all kinds of things that helps you create a culture through our Next Degree Leader division for coaching and for culture setting, if you will. Right. We have all of that. And so it's important. One of the things that we love to do is you see Freddie and I wearing promo apparel, right? One of the things that we believe in is we give our entire staff plenty of apparel, and we ask them to wear it 5 days a week. It turns out a lot of them wear it 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. But why not? Why not give them that type of stuff? Now, if you have thousands of employees, right, it might be a little difficult. But even then, if you got thousands of employees, that means you're having the revenue in order to outfit these people. You might just not be able to supply them 20, 30 shirts, yes, right? But we want our people to wear promo apparel at all times and be proud of where they work, mm-hmm, and have other people see that. Yes. We like people posting on social media when we go and do things together as a group. Like we're all at lunch together, or a number of people are at lunch together, or go to breakfast together, or go to events together. We like people to show that they enjoy working here. And what happens is that recruits good people.
That's exactly
that helps recruit good people. So we can help you with all types of things like that. When it comes to finding the right person, we'll be happy just to jump on a phone call with you. Go to thebrainstormradio.com. Check us out. Subscribe to our podcast. Watch us on our webisodes on our YouTube channel. If you catch us live on the radio, 100.7 on Monday mornings from 9 to 10, or just listen, just call us and engage with us. We'll be happy to help you in any way we can. Thanks for joining us and engaging with us here on The Brainstorm with Matt and Mike. On behalf of our guest co-host here, Freddie Marchant, take care. Have a great day.